about the major members of our solar system. Like other planets, the Earth moves mainly in two ways. It spins on its axis and it goes around the Sun. And as the Earth revolves around the Sun, the Moon is also revolving around the Earth. Can you imagine all these motions happening at the same time? The amazing thing is we do not feel that the Earth is moving. In reality, the planet is spinning around the Sun at 30 kilometers each second. But even if we do not actually see the Earth or Moon is moving, we can observe the effects of their motion. For example, because the Earth rotates, we experience day and night. As the Moon goes around the Earth, we can see changes in the Moon's appearance. And because of the motion of the Earth and the Moon, we experience eclipses.
At the end of the lesson, you should be able to define eclipse, explain how eclipses occur.
Let us know first if you have an idea about eclipses. Let us try this. Solve the picture puzzle and determine what is being shown. First picture. That's right! It's the Sun. The Sun is the main source of light in the solar system. Second picture. Correct! It's the Moon. Moon gets its light from the Sun. It revolves around the Earth. Third picture. Very good! That is our planet Earth. Last picture. Perfect! It's shadow. Shadow is made by blocking light. You did an incredible job, grade 7 learners! These are the words that we will encounter as we go along with our lesson. Are you now ready? Let us learn about eclipse.
In the earlier grades, you learned about the members of the solar system. You know that the Sun gives off light. As the different members of the solar system move around the Sun, they block the light from the Sun and form shadows. It means that planets have shadows. Even their moons have shadows too. In real life, when you stand in front of a light source, you will find a shadow behind you. When shadows are formed on Earth and Moon, a darkening effect is observed. This phenomenon is called an eclipse. This shows where the shadows of the Moon and Earth are as viewed in space. But here on Earth, you cannot observe these shadows. Looking at the shadow of the Moon in position A, the Moon is too high. Its shadow does not fall on Earth. In position B, the Moon is too low. The shadow of the Earth does not fall on the Moon. The shadows of the Earth and Moon are cast in space. We can observe these shadows in this arrangement. The Earth has moved along its orbit, taking the Moon along. The Moon is shown in two different locations. The Moon is neither too high nor too low. In fact, the Moon is in a straight line between the Sun and the Earth. We can say that these three objects are perfectly aligned. At position A, the shadow of the Moon falls on the Earth. When you are within this shadow, you will experience a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs when the Moon comes directly between the Sun and the Earth. Let us look at the Sun, Moon, and Earth. Look at the tip of the shadow of the Moon as it falls on Earth. Is the entire shadow of the Moon completely dark? Do you notice the unequal shading of the shadow? The shadow is a gray outer part. This region is called the penumbra. The darker inner region is called the umbra. If you were standing within the umbra of the Moon's shadow, you will see the Sun disappear from your view. the surroundings appear like it is early evening. In this case, you are witnessing a total solar eclipse. In comparison, if you are in the penumbra, you will see the sun partially covered by the moon. There are no dramatic changes in the surroundings. There is no noticeable dimming of sunlight. In this case, you are observing a partial solar eclipse. Let us go back to this figure. Look at the moon in position B. Do you notice that at this position, the moon is also aligned with the sun and earth? At this position, a different type of eclipse occurs. This time, the moon is in the shadow of the earth. In this case, you will observe a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon is directly on the opposite side of the earth as the sun. In a lunar eclipse, the shadow of the earth also darkens the moon. Focus your attention on the shadow of the earth in this figure. The shadow is wider than that of the moon. It also has an umbra and a penumbra. Which part of the earth's shadow falls on the moon? Is the moon always found within the umbra? The appearance of the moon is dependent on its location in the earth's shadow. When the entire moon is within the umbra, it will look totally dark. At this time, you will observe a total lunar eclipse. But when the moon passes only through a part of the umbra, a partial lunar eclipse will be observed. A part of the moon will look dark while the rest will be lighter. In your earlier grades, you have learned that it takes about 1 month for the moon to complete its trip around the earth. If that is the case, then we should be observing monthly eclipses. In reality, eclipses do not occur every month. There are only about 3 solar eclipses and 3 lunar eclipses in a year. What could be the reason for this? The answer lies in the orbit of the moon. Look at the orbit of the Earth and the moon. Do their orbits have the same orientations? As you can see, the moon's orbit is slightly inclined. The orbit is tilted by 50 from the plane of the orbit of the Earth. As the moon moves around the Earth, it is sometimes higher or lower than the Earth. In these situations, the shadow of the moon does not hit the surface of the Earth. Thus, no eclipses will occur. Eclipses only happen when the moon aligns with the sun and the Earth.
You did an incredible job, grade 7 learners! I hope you have learned something new today. So again, this is Teacher Shayne, and see you on our next episode of Science Patrol!